Welcome to WNIN Newsmakers. I'm Noah Alatza, Chief Communications Officer for the University of Evansville. Boating season is here, and there's a lot you need to know to safely enjoy it out on the water. So here to talk about that boating safety is Commander Rob Henson of our local Coast Guard Auxiliary. Rob, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So first, talk to me about the Coast Guard Auxiliary. What do you do for viewers at home who don't know?
The Coast Guard Auxiliary is an important member of Team Coast Guard. There are 30,000 of us all across the nation who are focused on prevention and education efforts so that people can have a safe time on the water.
I know life jackets are a big deal for you. But how do you know? A lot of times people are wondering, how do we know which one to get? Some that might not be bulky, or there are different kinds of life jackets. How do I know what I'm looking for?
That's a great question. Life jacket technology has come a long way. They're a lot more comfortable than they used to be. I'll show you my own personal life jacket right here. This is the one that I wear when I'm out on the water. And you know which one to pick based on the label on the inside. So, you know, this one says for sailing and kayaking, and those are the things I like to do the most. So this is a great life jacket. It fits me well and rated for the activity I'm in. But it's not good for me if I was going to be on a jet ski or if I was skiing behind a boat. Then you need to get a jacket rated for that activity.
So how many different kinds of jackets are we talking? You said the sailing one, there's
lots,
I'm
all
sure.
kinds of different jackets. We have type 1 through type 5, but they all have a very simple, easy label on the inside that'll tell you what they're rated for. Find the one that matches what you're going to do that day. You can find it at a great dealer in town and make sure it says approved by the U.S. Coast Guard on the inside.
Well, and I think that's such an important point because most people, right, traditionally think that one life jacket kind of does it all, right? And I think that's so important that you make that point that each one has a different, unique purpose.
That's true.
You know, you mentioned the number scale. Are there any other tips and tricks? Where could I go to find one? Just a local marine store? Where am I going?
Any of our local marine dealers around here can help you find a great jacket that's approved by the Coast Guard. We call it the Goldilocks principle. Not too snug, not too loose. We want it to fit just right so it helps protect you when you get into the water.
Sure, a lot of other things to get to as we're quickly approaching Memorial Day weekend. I know sometimes, you know, you're out on the boat, you've got weak cell service, signals sometimes not even existent. What do you do, though, as an alternative if, let's say, you are involved in an emergency, you do need to contact authorities for whatever? What is your recommendation?
It's a great question and a great point. Cell does not work everywhere on the Ohio River, but these do. This is a simple marine radio. You can find these at a boat dealer in town. You can find them online. When you turn these to channel 16, which is the emergency channel on the water all across the U.S., it'll get you to the Coast Guard station in Louisville. That signal is repeated all the way to Louisville. There's somebody at that watch stand 24 hours a day. If you call in your emergency, they'll get resources dispatched to you to help out.
So what is the leading cause of boating accidents that you see? Even do you have a good example maybe that you could share in your time?
Sure. The top cause of boating accidents in the United States is alcohol. The second one is driver inattention or driver inexperience. So Operation Dry Water is important to us. You know, boating and alcohol do not mix. So don't drink if you're going to operate a vessel. That very often, you know, results in bad outcomes for people. Driver inattention and inexperience happens too. You know, it's Memorial Day weekend. A lot of people will have just purchased a vessel. They'll want to go out and use it for the first time and have a great first day on the water, but they really should take a safe boating class, get to learn how to use their vessel in non-crowded conditions to reduce the likelihood of having an accident.
How often are you responding to accidents on a given weekend? Is there a particular weekend, I'm thinking the 4th of July, Memorial Day, right, where you see an uptick perhaps in these accidents?
Yeah, the big 3 weekends in boating season are Memorial Day, which is upcoming, and a lot of that's relative to alcohol or driver inexperience. 4th of July is the next big holiday where responses go up, and that is mostly due to the fact people are boating at nighttime, which they're inexperienced at doing. And that can be a cause of accidents. And then the end of the season, folks want to have one last hurrah on the water on Labor Day, and that's another high accident weekend. We're really blessed in this region to have Evansville Fire Department, Perry Township Fire Department, Black Township, and other agencies, including DNR, who can make emergency responses on the water when needed.
Rob, you mentioned just a little bit ago this Operation Dry Water. Tell us about that. When does that start? What does that entail? I'm assuming increased patrols, perhaps.
Yeah, Operation Dry Water is a national effort. The big focus of that is over 4th of July weekend, and that's to reduce the incidence of operating a vessel while intoxicated. So you might see checkpoints at docks, where people can get Operation Dry Water information. You can see increased patrols on the water, and there can be law enforcement present at docks when people are coming off the water to make sure everybody can get home safe.
Now, I know particularly for inexperienced boaters, how do you navigate? What's your recommendation for navigating around all river traffic? I'm thinking especially with barges along the river.
Right.
What do you tell people?
Yeah, this is a busy river. We have a lot of commercial traffic that comes through here, barges carrying chemicals and goods and fuel sources. And so we do want people as best they can to be 100 yards away from barges. Sometimes the Ohio is narrow and that's harder to do, but barges always have the right of way on the Ohio River. So you want to stay as far away from them as they can, give them all the room they need to navigate so they can safely pass through the channels and you can have a great weekend as well.
What is your final parting message before we let you go to viewers at home who are watching, who are about to get out on a boat maybe this weekend? What do you tell them to have a safe and enjoyable time?
Yeah, the first thing is life jackets save lives every time you're on the water. So as soon as you get to the dock or you're going onto the ramp, make sure you have your life jacket on. Take a safe boating class if you can, which will help you operate your vessel safely. And do all you can to make sure that everybody on your vessel is having a safe and enjoyable time this boating season.
Rob Henson from the Coast Guard Auxiliary, our local branch at least. Thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.